What if tonight, as you lay down and the day's noise begins to fade, the ancient prayers of the Psalms could begin to heal what the day has left broken? Not as a magic formula, not as a promise that every wound will vanish by morning, but as a gentle, faithful presence that meets you where you are. In the restless mind, the aching heart, the tight chest that won't let you breathe easily. The Psalms do not pretend to erase pain with a single sentence. They teach us how to bring that pain into the light and place it before the one who knows every sorrow. Before we go further, a quiet word of care. When I speak of healing in this meditation, I mean the healing of your soul, your emotions, your inner life, the restoration of courage, the easing of fear, the softening of a hardened heart. If you are facing a serious medical or mental health crisis, please consider combining prayer with the support of a doctor, counselor, or trusted professional. Faith and care can walk together. The Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want. Let that simple line rest in the space of your breath for a moment. Hear it not as a demand placed on you, but as an invitation to imagine a steady presence tending what is weary, to know you are not alone in the dark. Why the Psalms? Because they were written by people who lived the same rough, honest things you live. Nights of fear, mornings of fragile hope, seasons when God felt near, and seasons when God felt silent. The Psalms give us words for raw feeling. They name anger, loneliness, grief, longing, and they do so without shame. They teach us how to speak plainly to God. They are not polished hymns that pretend everything is fine. They are prayers that meet the truth of our lives and carry it into God's care. Scripture does something practical in the life of faith. It reorients us. When the mind is a tangle of what-ifs and the heart keeps replaying old hurts, a psalm can be like a gentle hand on your shoulder, a steadying voice that says, "Bring that worry here. Say that name. Tell me what is heavy." Over time, the practice of bringing the whole of yourself, fear, shame, gratitude, questions, before God reshapes the way you sleep. It does not guarantee every ache will vanish, but it makes the night a place where healing can begin to grow. If this is the kind of nightly practice you want, subscribe for more Psalm meditations to help you close the day with God. If tonight's words speak to something inside you, consider saving this meditation to return to when sleep is hard to find. Bring to mind now the part of you that is most tired. Maybe it's your mind, replaying conversations and worries. Maybe it's your heart, bruised by loss or disappointment. Maybe it's your spirit, dry and longing. Picture that place in you as plainly as you can. Name it silently. The worry about a health report? The sting of a broken relationship? The exhausted sense that you have nothing left to give?
The psalmist knew what it meant to name such things aloud. Listen to this cry. "Have mercy on me, O Lord. Heal me, for my bones are in anguish." Let the honesty of that line hold you free to say the truth. You do not have to dress up your pain. You do not have to argue it into something smaller. Speak plainly. The psalmist did. There is a gift in lament, and lament is not defeat. Lament is the language of a soul that will not pretend all is well when it is not. It is the courage to carry grief into God's presence and to do it without cleverness. In the Psalms, we learn the posture of bringing broken things into God's hands without hiding them. To lament is to trust that God can handle our honest questions, our anger, our pleading. So let us do that now, simply and slowly. Place one hand over the place of your greatest ache, literally or just in your imagination. Take a slow breath in. Let it out. In your own words, speak one sentence to God that names the hurt. It can be as plain as, "I am exhausted, Lord," or as sharp as, "I am angry and I don't understand." If words fail, a single phrase will do. "Help," or "I'm tired." Allow a quiet moment after you speak, for that sentence to land. Now, a short psalm-like confession you can shape to your own need. Lord, have mercy. I am weary, and I bring this before you. Say it softly to yourself, aloud or inside your mind. Feel the air move as you speak. Allow the truth of the words to be heard by you and by God. The Psalms do not rush us past the pain. They teach us how to sit in it, to name it, and then to hand it over. This handing over is not denial. It is a deliberate shift of burden. Imagine the weight you carry as a heavy cloak. With each breath, picture laying that cloak down at the feet of God. You do not carry it alone anymore. If your mind objects, repeat the short line, I lay this down. There is an honesty in the psalmist's tears that feels permission-giving. Consider these words, my soul thirsts for God, for the living God. You may have a thirst tonight, for understanding, for relief, for a touch that makes the world sensible again. To speak that thirst is to recognize the direction of desire. It points us outward and upward, and it reminds us that longing itself can be a doorway. Sometimes our nights are crowded by fear of what tomorrow might bring, fear of loneliness, fear that our mistakes define us. The psalmic prayers show us how to name fear, how to call out its name to God. Naming fear does not feed it, it puts it where it belongs, before a loving God who is not surprised by our doubts. If you feel resistance to prayer, if your mouth is dry and words won't come, let the psalmist lead for you. Repeat, slowly, the simple phrases that suit you. Lord, hear me. Do not hide your face. Be near. Feel the steadiness of those small petitions as a rhythm under your breath.
There is healing power not as magic, but as discipline. The discipline of coming with what you are and saying it to the one who listens. As you sit with that honesty, allow the memory of a time when someone heard you, whether God, a friend, a parent, to come into your mind. Hold that memory gently and let it be a small proof that being heard matters. The psalmist remembers too. The nights turned to mourning before. Grief gave way to dancing. Help arrived when hope was thin. Remembering is not trying to manipulate God. It is collecting evidence of God's faithfulness to soothe the anxious heart. If you are ready, breathe in slowly 3 times. On each out-breath, say softly, "I hand this to you." Feel the words shape your letting go. Let the steady repetition calm the busy mind. Allow a quiet moment after the last phrase for whatever rises to settle. There is also a practice of confession that moves the healing forward. Find one small thing tonight to name as yours to change or to surrender. It might be a harsh word you said, a grudge you have held, a choice you regret. Admit it before God in a single line. I confess this. Confession is not punishment. It is a clearing, an uncluttering of the inner room so healing can enter. Say the line. Then, after you speak it, say, "Lord, forgive me. Help me to be changed." Allow the sense of relief to be real, even if small. Some wounds are deeper than a single night can resolve. Some griefs will sit with you for a long season. The psalmic pattern does not promise immediate fix for every sorrow. Instead, it offers a roadmap. Bring the pain, name the truth, remember mercy, and rest in the presence that remains. You are not abandoned to your pain. You are allowed to bring it into a relationship where healing may begin. You may find yourself thinking, "But I don't feel different." That is okay. The Psalms themselves often end a lament not with immediate joy, but with trust. Even if I do not yet see deliverance, I will remember God's goodness. This is a long practice. The healing of deep things is often gradual. Your part tonight is faithful presence, to show up, to bring the real you, and to let God do slow, careful work. Imagine now a small scene from psalmic imagery. The psalmist entering a quiet night, stars thin and the air cool, carrying a lamp that is not fully bright. God meets the psalmist not by scolding, but by sitting beside him. The lamp is not replaced overnight. Instead, warmth returns to the hands, breathing slows, the lamp steadies. Picture this warmth as a presence on your chest, not erasing your memories, but making them bearable. Let that image hold you while you breathe. There are also practical ways the psalmists invite us to respond that can be done at the bedside. One is naming 3 small things for which you can say thank you before sleep. They need not be grand. They might be a text that arrived, a cup of coffee that tasted good, a brief kindness. Saying thanks does not deny sorrow. It remembers a broader tapestry where grace is present even amid pain. Try it now. Name 3 things aloud or in your mind. Let each one be a soft touch on the surface of your heart. Another bedside practice is to choose a short verse to repeat slowly as you drift. It could be a single phrase that calms you. Be still and know I am God. Or, the Lord is my shepherd. Repeat it like a slow anchor, a phrase to return to when the mind wanders. If your mind resists, do not be hard on yourself. Simply return to the phrase, again and again, like a patient friend drawing you back to the shore. As the Psalm of Lament gives permission to grieve, it also points toward the possibility of turning. There is movement in the Psalms from complaint to trust, from darkness to an awareness of light. That movement is not always quick, but it is hopeful. The psalmist often moves through the valley and discovers a presence in the valley itself. God's healing is not always the removal of struggle. It is the transformation of how we experience struggle, from being alone in pain to being in pain with a companion. Before we leave this place of lament, I want to offer a short prayer you can use or adapt, addressed simply and plainly to God. Speak these lines as if speaking into the night. Lord, I bring what is heavy. I am worn down, scared, and uncertain. Hold my tears. Help me to trust you with what I cannot fix. Come near to me tonight, and let your presence be enough. Allow a quiet moment here to let those words land. If you wish, change them to fit what is most true for you. Perhaps you will add a name, a place, a memory. This is a space for honest speech, not performance. Even as we honor the reality of sorrow, remember that the Psalms do not leave us there. They bend toward healing and restoration, not always by erasing the scars, but by creating new patterns of life where joy and gratitude can return in time. In the next part of our time together, we will step gently into that theme, the Psalms of healing and restoration, the prayers that remember past mercies and ask for renewed joy. We will look at how to recall God's past help as a means of strengthening your heart tonight, and we will practice a short remembering ritual you can use whenever sleep feels distant. For now, keep the honesty of your lament close. Keep the simple phrases you repeated at hand. If worry comes back, return to the small confession and the short gratitude list. Let the steady rhythm of your breath be a companion. Picture the cloak you laid down still there, folded by the feet of the one who sees you. Imagine as you breathe that the cloak is a little lighter than it was an hour ago. Soon we will move into words that speak of healing in a psalmic way. Bones made whole, singing returned where there was once only silence, and a spirit renewed. We will do that without promises of instant cures, with gentle realism and open hope. But before we walk that path together, rest here a little longer in the truth that your tears are valid and your voice matters to God. Let that truth settle in the room where you are. Let it be the first small measure of healing this night. Now, carrying that small measure of healing in the room with you, we step into the Psalms that speak of restoration, not as a quick fix, but as a steady mending that begins in the heart and works outward. These are the prayers that remember mercy and then ask, with a kind of brave expectation, for a renewed life. Listen to this assurance the psalmist offers. You have turned my mourning into dancing. You have loosed my sackcloth and clothed me with gladness. Let that line linger, not as a promise of instant reversal, but as a picture of what God does over time, a movement from heaviness towards something lighter. The Psalms name grief honestly, and then remember that God has moved before. They let past mercy inform present hope. When the psalmist says, "You heal the brokenness of my soul," or speaks of bones that were once crushed being made whole, these are images that point to a deep kind of mending. They are not a formula for guaranteed physical cure simply by reciting them. Rather, they shape a spiritual language for hope. They teach us to bring our wounded places into a relationship with a God who notices and who acts in ways we may not immediately see. Let us practice the psalmic habit of remembering. Think now of one small moment when you felt helped, even just a little, a time someone showed up, a voice that steadied you, a morning that felt clearer than the night before. Hold that memory gently. Speak it aloud or in your mind as a short declaration. You helped me then. Let this be more than nostalgia. Let it become a resource in your present. The psalmist does not try to manufacture faith out of thin air. He collects memory like breadcrumbs to find his way back to trust. Now, a brief healing exercise you can use at your bedside. It has 3 simple movements: recall, confess, remember. 1. Recall a past kindness or answered prayer. Say it softly, "You helped me when," and the small truth of that memory will steady you. 2. Confess one thing you carry that needs changing or surrender. Keep it short. "I confess this." Allow the lightness that follows confession to be real, even if small. 3. Remember God's mercy by whispering a short verse that fits your heart tonight. It might be the line you heard a moment ago. "You have turned my mourning into dancing," or "You have been my help before." Repeat it slowly 3 times, taking a breath between each repetition. Let the rhythm anchor your heart. If words feel thin, you can use a simple physical symbol. Place your hand over the part of you that hurts, the chest, the belly, the forehead, and rest there for a moment as you say, "I bring this to you." That small gesture trains the body and the spirit to move toward surrender. The Psalmetic tradition is embodied. It does not ask us to feel more than we do, but to bring what is real into God's presence. We must also say plainly, the Psalms speak of physical healing in their own ancient language, and people have found comfort and sometimes surprising restoration through prayer. Yet healings happen in many ways, through time, through relationships, through medicine, through conscience, through grace we cannot fully name. Pray, and when the situation calls for it, seek medical counsel, professional care, therapy, or community support. Faith and good care can walk together. Now, let the imagery of anointing guide your imagination. Picture warm oil poured over tired hands. Imagine that warmth seeping into each finger, into the bones, into the places that ache. The psalmist used the image of being anointed to speak of being chosen, healed, and set apart. Let that image be an emblem tonight. Oil of tenderness, not as magic, but as symbol of attention and blessing. Allow your breath to match this image. Inhale gently, as if drawing warmth into the hands. Exhale, and imagine that warmth spread to wherever you are tender. Repeat this a few times. If your mind wanders, return without judgment to the warm image. You are practicing a small sacrament, attention given to the place of pain, accompanied by words of trust. There is another psalmetic move that tends toward restoration, naming the body and the soul together. The psalmist says that God sustains the sickbed and restores to health. So speak to your body tonight with compassion. If you are carried by anxiety that tightens muscles, say to those muscles, "Be still." If you are carried by sorrow that loosens appetite and joy, say to that sorrow, "I see you, you are allowed, and you are not alone." Our words, even when soft, help reframe the inner landscape. Now we shift gently toward the sheltering psalms, those that speak of refuge and protection in the night. Picture now a place of safety, a quiet room with a single lantern, a small courtyard under a roof, a shepherd's fold. The psalms that name refuge do not pretend there will be no threat. They promise presence. The psalmist writes, "He will cover you with his wings, and under his wings he will find refuge." Let that short line settle. The metaphor of wings is tender and parental. It asks us to imagine closeness rather than distance. Imagine a large bird whose feathers form a warm, secure hush around you. You are not hidden from life's realities under the wings. You are kept from being overwhelmed by them. As you draw that image, sense the rhythm of breathing slowing because of that imaginariness. This image is not a denial of fear. It holds fear gently and does not let it alone. From a shelter to a shepherd, recall the words that have comforted generations. "The Lord is my shepherd. He makes me lie down in green pastures. He leads me beside still waters." Picture those pastures, not flashy fields, but quiet places where the body can let go of vigilance. Let your shoulders drop as you imagine stepping into a pasture. Let the mind's clenching loosen as you hear the gentle sound of water close by. Now a short protective rehearsal for your bedside. Imagine the perimeter of your night as a circle of light or a high wall, whichever image comforts you. Within that circle are your breath, your thoughts, your dreams, your sleep. Say softly, "This night I am held." Repeat it if it helps. The psalmist's language is often communal. It remembers the fold, the community of the faithful. You are not the only one who needs refuge. Allow that thought to widen the sense of safety. Psalm 121 has a watchful note. "My help comes from the Lord, who made heaven and earth." Use that as a gentle reminder that the God who watches also made the very sky above your bed. There is a quiet stability in this thought. The one who keeps the stars in their courses is attentive to you. Let such an image be neither boastful nor naive, but quietly steadying. If worry keeps surfacing as a list of what-ifs, bring one of those ifs into the light and give it a name tonight, one thing only. Speak it aloud or in your mind and then say, "This I hand to you." Do not try to solve it now. Do not feel you must plan an answer. The psalmist posture with worry is often simple handing over. It is a deliberate movement of trust. Repeat the phrase slowly, "I hand this to you." Now move inward toward a restful visualization.
Picture a small house with a single door. At the doorway stands a figure with arms extended. The figure is not a stranger, it is an emblem of refuge. Walk toward that door and allow yourself to be greeted. Inside there is a place to lay down the cloak of the day. Lay your cloak down, the cloak of fear, of striving, of must-do lists. Set it down and notice how the weight of it changes, how your shoulders ease. Before we leave the theme of protection, take 3 gentle breaths and say after each one a short phrase drawn from psalmic images. First, you are my refuge. Second, you cover me with wings. Third, you watch over my sleep. Let each phrase be a soft anchor bridging breath and image. We now move to praise as a medicine for the soul. The Psalms teach that thanksgiving and praise do not erase sorrow, but they shift the heart's attention and reorder the spirit. Consider this short verse. I will bless the Lord at all times. His praise shall continually be in my mouth. Praise is not always loud or celebratory. Sometimes praise is a whisper that refuses to let bitterness have the only word. Start with a small gratitude list. It need only be 3 items, nothing grand. Perhaps a friend who texted, an ordinary meal that tasted good, a moment of laughter. Say them aloud or hold them in your mind. Let them be small touches of grace that pierce the heavy curtain of despair.
The psalmist often pairs lament with a turn toward gratitude, and that tiny turn can shift physiological and emotional patterns. Praise can also be a way to rehearse both honesty and hope. I will praise you, Lord, in the midst of this sorrow, because you have been present. This is a brave kind of praise. It names pain and yet chooses to remember goodness. It is not performance. It is a deliberate reorientation. There is also a practice of singing in the heart. You do not need a voice to out loud sing. You can carry a single line like a thread through your mind. Choose one short phrase from a psalm that feels faithful to your night. The Lord is near to the brokenhearted, or my soul will praise the Lord. Repeat it gently, as a lullaby for the restless mind. Let it rise and fall with your breathing. If you are willing, write down or simply name silently 3 things you are thankful for right now. They may be tangible or invisible: a steady hand, a warm cup, the way a stranger smiled. Let gratitude touch the spaces grief has hollowed out. The psalmist believed that praise does not deny reality, it rearranges it in the presence of divine faithfulness. As praise softens the heart, hope begins to reemerge, not as naive optimism, but as a patient waiting. The Psalms promise morning after the night. They speak of weeping in the evening and joy in the morning. That pattern is not a guarantee that each morning will be free of pain, but it is a trustworthy rhythm. Sorrow held by God can, over time, yield to renewed delight. Now prepare your heart for a guided sleep prayer, a gentle, psalmic weaving together of confession, petition, thanksgiving, shelter, and trust. This prayer is meant to be paced slowly. Allow each sentence to land. If you wish, personalize any line by adding a name or a need silently. Lord, we come with what is real tonight. We do not bring polished words or tidy faith. We bring honest breath and genuine longing. You know each need before we voice it, yet you invite our voice. Hear us now as we speak the truth of our hearts. Lord, I confess my weariness. I admit how often I have tried to carry more than I was made to hold. Forgive me for the times I hardened my heart against help, for the times I trusted my own plans above your presence. Teach me gentleness toward myself tonight. Lord, I bring the hurts I cannot fix. Hold the grief that has weight in the chest. Tend the places that ache. Pour your mercy like balm into the wounds that feel raw. If there is shame, lift it gently. If there is anger, receive it without counting it against me. Lord, I remember your kindnesses. You have steadied me before. You have turned mourning into small dances. You have brought light into dark rooms when into an oxia path. For these things I give thanks. Let memory of your faithfulness be a support under my feet. Lord, be my refuge tonight. Cover me with the shelter of your wings. Where fear prowls, let your presence be a guard. Where loneliness sits like a heavy stone, let your nearness be a companion. Place a cup of cool water before my parched heart, and let my spirit drink. Lord, restore what is broken within me, not as a command born of desperation, but as a plea born of love. Heal what needs healing. Mend what needs mending. Make whole what can be made whole. We trust you with the slow work of restoration, and we ask for patience to wait with you. If tonight feels especially dark because of illness or deep loss, we ask also for wise hands to help. Bring to us the right help, doctors, counselors, friends, treatments, and help us to accept care when it is necessary. We do not separate prayer from practical wisdom. We invite both. Let that whisper be more powerful than the list of shoulds. Let it become the last thing you hold before sleep. Now, as you prepare for sleep, choose a short verse to keep as a night guard. It might be the line you have held most tonight, or a new phrase that resonates. He will cover you with his wings, or the Lord is near to the brokenhearted. Repeat it slowly once or twice, and allow it to rest beneath your breath like a lullaby. Before we close, a few gentle reminders for practical care. If your nights are marked by ongoing distress, consider reaching out to a trusted professional alongside these spiritual practices. Faith and good medical or psychological care are companions in the journey of healing. May the peace that passeth understanding guard your heart and mind as you sleep. May the one who counts every tear meet you where you are and begin in small ways tonight to mend what is broken. May the shelter of divine presence be more real to you than your fears. May the memory of past mercies steady your hope for a new morning. If this time has been helpful, follow for more guided psalm meditations to bring with you into the night. If you would like to return to these words when sleep is hard, save this meditation or add it to your nightly routine. Now, with a quiet heart and a soft breath, rest. Allow the psalms to murmur beside you as you drift. Allow the small measures of healing to grow slowly, day by day, night by night. You are not alone. You are held. You are seen. Good night.